The people, how vibrant they are in that place. Then we come to Rift Valley, which is the largest voting bloc. And here, IBC comfortably gave Jacom 1.1 million votes from Bomas. And Dr. Ruto was given 2.666 million votes from Bomas. And our addition from Rift Valley gave Jacom 1.4 million votes, and Dr. Ruto 2.3 million votes. Looking at it, 1.1 and 1.4 in a voting block of the whole of Rift Valley is not far from the truth. It's true that you can see that it's possible that the 1.4 was highly attainable, because we should have seen what we were seeing in Central, in Rift Valley, because in Central it was 400,000 votes only, and in Rift Valley he has 1.1 million votes. And this other system is not exaggerating. It is giving 1.4, so we can see that he lost 336,000 votes in Central, in Rift Valley as a whole, and Dr. Ruto gained 346,000 votes. When you come to Western region, the ruling votes as we speak, Jacom had 845,000 votes against Dr. Ruto's 513 in IEBC portal. But when we analyze the other data set, we have Jacom having 892,000 versus 466,000 votes, meaning in Western province, or Western region, all of it, he lost 47,000 votes, and Dr. Ruto gained 46,000 votes. You can see that the consistency in that what you lose on this side, you gain on that side, almost gives credibility to this as a very pre-planned outcome that was meant to be. When you come to Nyanza region, we have IBC giving Jacom a total of 1.87 million votes versus Dr. Ruto's 283,000 votes. Knowing Nyanza as it is, well, we know that's possible. Then when we look at what comes out at the other data set, we have Jacom having 1.89 million votes, just 1.9 million votes, and then Dr. Ruto getting 261. So here, he was also denied 20,000 votes, and Dr. Ruto awarded 22,000 votes. Then we come lastly to Nairobi as a region, which is also a county on its own. Then we have from IBC portal, he's given 757, and Dr. Ruto is given 535,000 votes. But in the other data set, we have 822, 623, and 470, giving him a loss of 65,000 votes, and Dr. Ruto gaining 65,000 votes as well. Apparently, the other data set for diaspora was not available, so we relied basically on the portal data, and that's why we have 00 there. So we have a set of data that were not available, and that is why we only work with what was there. So looking at it carefully, you will note that in the end, His Excellency the Prime Minister lost 1.182 million votes, and Ruto was awarded 1.2 million votes nationally. And in that, now, if you add all these data values and all this, you're going to have 244 million votes. And then Dr. Ruto having 5.9. So when you hear His Excellency the Prime Minister saying, I have been having 8.1 million votes. This is the breakdown in the constituency format. And Dr. Ruto, he has been saying, has been having 5.9 million votes. This is the breakdown in the constituency format so that you can easily track it. Because looking at it on the final value is confusing, that everybody else would be asking, where are those values coming from? So with that, allow me to now take you to the last section of this presentation. I'll choose a few constituencies and then just that it. This website is arranged in a very easy way. In this part, we have the county and then the constituency. On this first column for downloads, you have the original server form. That is the form that was obtained later from IEBC. We have listed them all here. And then we have the Bomas portal forms. Someone may be asking, where did you get the Bomas portal forms? Because they removed them from their portal. I told you that I got sort of excited with seeing that data set, and I said, let me download it earlier. So I downloaded all of them at the right time when it was still fresh. And I can show you here that these are the data from the IEBC. You can see my download dates. Here, date modified, the last download dates, that this was all on August. These are 888, You can see 888 and the dates, and then 2022. That means these are the authentic data forms 34B from the IEBC that were used to inform Form 34C, that were used to inform Form 34D, that were finally declared. So these are the correct data sets. So that's where we have them. And my logs are showing clearly that they are genuine and they are authentic. So if you download this, then you will be actually downloading the server form. You go through it, look at it, you will see that it's exactly a copy of the other form. That let me go and download it again. For this one, this is the IEBC portal form. And if you look at them, you can only detect from the signatures that these forms are not far from being they are not different at all. So let me take you to the signature part and look at them. I want you to look at just this telephone number written here. It is 8 and 5 is crossing this line. And when I take you to this, you can also see that 8 and 5 is crossing the line. So it's basically the same form, signed by the same people. But when you take them through a process that we did, then I take you here, and you'll see the outcome. Now let me be clear that we had 4 candidates, and out of these 4 candidates, the other 2, we added their values, and they all returned 0. That means nothing was deducted, nothing was added to the other 2 candidates. So instead of bogging you down with so much data, we decided to omit them and compare only the 2 data sets from the first 2 candidates. And so this is what came up from Likoni. If you look at it, we have the station and then the stream of the station. For example, Mtongwe had 3 streams, and they're all captured there as this is the stream. The first values are the server forms for the Honorable Prime Minister, and the other is the server form, the server results for the Dr. Ruto. And then on this other side, we have the Bomas results for the Prime Minister, and Dr. Ruto also here. So when we try to, just simple math, we try to subtract one data set from the other, we have results here. You will see votes deducted from Raila and votes added to Ruto on this other side. So it runs, because now this is a computer system, you don't worry about it. What it gives you, what it gives you, that's it. Then it highlighted this particular station, that now Jacob has lost 100 here, and Ruto has gained 100. And it gives you a total of 100 and 100 here. That is there. So that is what is recorded here as Ruto, as Jacob losing 100 and Ruto gaining 100. If you come to this, it's the same process. Okay, let me take you through this. You will note that let me take you through them a bit. Just as a clarity, so that you see. I'll only do one, and then the rest will follow just like that. So I have showed you here that here it is indicating that only this Likodep has 100 lost and 100 gained. So we go and confirm with the forms, the original forms. Because we don't want to add or remove anything, we pick on this. And then we go to that Likodep, where it is, and you will see that here Jacob has 270 and Ruto has 79. And this is the form from Likoni constituency. If you look at this form, and you pick it up and go with it to IEBC, they can easily accept it that this is their form, because it has all the features that are needed for it to be an IEBC form. Then, when we go and check on this other side, to tell you that the system wasn't cooking anything, we go to that same Likodep, and we note that here Jacob has 170, and now Ruto has 179. If you compare with this, it is 270 and 79. Now you can see the trick that was being played here. The trick that was being played here is that you can see in this column, Jacob is having basically what we call tens of votes. Tens means it's not going up to 100. So, no, Ruto is seen here, really not that's what I wanted to say, but I'll explain that in another part. What you can see here in Likodep is that he has 270 and Ruto has 179. And, okay, what I wanted to say is this. You can see that there's a certain format, a standard here, that he's getting in this particular constituency. He's getting tens, while Jacob is getting hundreds. So, this is, by human behavior, a possibility that if this is the same ward, and looking at it that this is the same station, it is possible that these are his actual values everywhere. When we analyze this Likodep, again, we noticed that the room that voted highest in the constituency as a whole was, I think, room number 4, coming from Likodep, was the highest, returning 99.8% of the voters voting for Jacob, and only 0.03% voting for Dr. Ruto. Then suddenly, in one of those rooms, you come and check, and you realize it has shot to 179, which became a flag. So it became a flag. We had to go back to the forms and counter-check, and we found it, that it was there. So that is it from that place. I take you to this, which also has a 50 difference. And you note that the results are returning 0 variances, until you reach some stations, that here in Gazi Primary Room 1, there is 223 and 134, which suddenly in Bomas changes to 123 and 234. That is Bomas. This is what is the server's results that was released later. And as a data analyst, we couldn't just take this simple. It was looking like it was really planned. That you jump to another place, and you note that here, Jacoma has 277, and you can see the trend here. It is 200s, 100s, 300s, and then you have 277, and Ruto has 102. And because he has shot up with 102 in one of these places, it was the easiest place to attack. And then to remove 200 votes and leave him with 77, and give Dr. Ruto now 300 votes. With a deduction of 200 in one place, and an addition of 200 in another. The same trend moved on like that, until now when we realize that this was a really planned thing, because if it's hundreds, 200s, 300s, it's easier to even say that there was a system generating it. But no, there was no system generating, it was deliberate. That's why we have a 50 here. 50, you can see a clear 156, changes to 106, and 132 changes to 182. If you think that's not true, let me take you just to this 51, and you look at it. So that 50 is found from Kilulu Primary. So in Kilulu Primary, where could it be, Kilulu? Should be the last bits. Here it is. You have 156 and you have 132 here in Kilulu. And then when you come to the Bomas in Msambweni, again we look for Kilulu. We look for Kilulu in Bomas. Now it is clear here it is 106 and it is 182. Because if you add all these values, they'll give you exactly 33,000 votes here and 12,000 on this side. But also if you add this side, you will get 34 and 11,000 votes. So what they are doing is to maintain the total number of valid votes, not to change at all. So registered voters not affected. Total number of valid votes not affected. The only places where the effects were seen were on the two columns for Jacom and Dr. Ruto. All right, I want to take you to a different type of manipulation. That was direct transfer. You take here, add there. I want to take you to a different type of manipulation. And let me take you to, I'll choose just a few. A place called Tabaj in Wajir County. I picked on it because it was sort of unique. Here, we noted that you couldn't tell who is winning in one station and who's losing in another one, because at some point, Jacom is running the show, and then suddenly he loses in some points, and then he starts picking up and running the show in some areas, and then goes on like that and runs the show. At the same time, Dr. Ruto is losing somewhere, and then he picks up and runs the show, just like that, and then all over like that. So you can't tell at the end of it the real performance in this constituency. So what they were doing with that kind is to flip the results. And by flipping the results, you can easily see that now this column, which was belonging to Raila, is now belonging to Ruto. And this column that was now belonging to Ruto is now belonging to Raila. And these are the servers, the IEBC portal results that we picked up from the public portal that they told us to pick up from. They are the ones who told us, add them by yourselves, use your calculators and get your results. We did that. And so these are the flips that were there. In these flips, you can easily see that what is lost on one side is gained on the other side. And what is gained on one side, like here, is lost on the other side. And with that, what they were focused on is the final tally. So the final tally gives Jacom a loss of 823, and Dr. Ruto gains 823 votes. And that flip has worked perfect with very minimal view of what has been flipped. But the issue is, there's now a wide difference of 1,600 votes that you can see there. Because if one person is on the other end of the negative, and the other person is on the other end of the positive, the gap is very wide. So in that case, we are talking of a wide gap of 1.6, or rather 1,600 votes. This is another type of manipulation that was there. And this is exactly what took place in Central Province and parts of Rift Valley. So Central Province had a lot of swap votes. And then Rift Valley also had that kind of swapping of votes. But in places where they realized we could take only just this bit, they were doing exactly that. So that was my analysis, and you can see it. Maybe if you want to confirm, you will go later and confirm by yourself, but I can take you just through this Tabaj one, and then you confirm by yourself. Where is Tabaj? Here. Let me close Msambweni because I'm done with it. In Tabaj, the server results are revealing that the Right Honorable Prime Minister, these are his column. This is his column. And this is Dr. Ruto's column. This is David Mwaure's column. And that is Wajakoya's. So when we look at it, these two columns not affected. But let's look at the other Bomas results now in Tabaj. I hope I still have internet. Let me check. I hope they haven't attacked us again. This is the problem I was having earlier. Anyway, they can't beat us because I have it offline as well. So, Tabaj is in Wajir. Yeah, Tabaj is here. Let me pick it from offline and show it here. Here now you can easily see that on the server is indicating that these are column belonging to Jacob, and this other column belongs to Ruto. While on this one, you can now see the 95, 9, so on has changed, and has now turned to this other side. So basically, that's what happened. And you can even see that the final tallies are now swapped. Here it is 8, 9, 12. And Jacob now, Ruto has now 9, 7, 35 from the portal. That is the data used to declare the president. While here, the 9 belongs to Jacob, and the 8 and 8,900 belongs to Ruto. So it's a swap, giving a loss of just that. That's another type of manipulation. Now I'll take you to I think 2 more types of manipulations, and it will guide a little. I want to go to Mavoko in Machakos. So Machakos, Mavoko, we have everything faring on well from the beginning. As you can see here, the Bomas is reflecting exactly what the server is reflecting. It's reflecting all the way until when you reach some level. And you know, they are smart. They don't affect it at the beginning because you may identify earlier. It is affected at the end of the data. So in this case, it was like Jacob gets his normal votes, but Dr.